bombshell Halloween is finally in sight.
Yeah, you could feel it.
You can taste it. It tastes like peanut butter cups.
Right.
So I'm going to kick off the season with a quick ink sketch of the ghoul from London After Midnight, Todd Browning's silent 1927 thriller. And we're going to talk about why I chose to draw this monster.
There's a couple reasons.
And I'm also going to let everyone in on a way to experience London After Midnight, even though all prints of this movie were lost in the terrible MGM Film Vault fire of 1965.
This is going to be good.
So not too long ago, one of the patrons in our Patreon sent us a package in the mail. And there was no reason, really.
Right.
It's not like we encourage gift giving from the people who already generously support us.
No, but that is rare for you.
No, that is true. I am fairly greedy. I like a gift now and then.
Yeah.
But as I said, this package came unbidden to our doorstep.
Yeah.
And when we opened it, what lay inside was a treasure trove of pop culture horror items that had us squealing with delight.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Unbelievably generous.
You did most of the actual squealing, but I kind of was speechless.
That's true. I squeal intermittently throughout the day, so
Yes.
that's kind of a natural reaction for me. But inside the package, amongst the treasures, was this Lon Chaney London After Midnight action figure that still gives me chills.
I'm still shocked.
This thing has, I think, 4 different heads, a couple of different capes. It's
Right?
it's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. And I have reprimanded that patron harshly
Wow.
for his irresponsible generosity.
You didn't have to go that far.
I'm hoping that they feel guilty enough about the whole thing that maybe they send me a little something to make up for it. But beyond that, when we opened this gift, one of the first things I said was, we're going to have to do a video about this character at some point.
Right? I get it. It inspired you.
Right, so we put it on our to-do list. So yeah, you mentioned our patrons being inspiring. I agree. And that's another reason I'm inking up this ghoul.
Yeah.
We recently started a chat in Patreon.
Yes.
Am I allowed to talk about this to outsiders?
It's fine.
The Patreon police aren't going to be knocking on my door?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, we opened up a thread.
Yeah.
Open to everyone in our Patreon. Who is your favorite monster and why?
Right.
You know, just a prompt to get the ball rolling, to get to know the people in our Patreon.
Yeah.
We got a lot of fun, interesting responses. The members were reminding each other of horror movies that they'd seen long ago and maybe had forgotten.
It's a great group. I think there were some recommendations in there. It's a really fun chat.
Yeah, and it's ongoing.
Yeah.
But one of the first monsters that showed up was Lon Chaney's ghoul from London After Midnight.
So there's another reference.
Exactly.
And I'm really enjoying the chat.
Oh, it's a great chat.
I love our patrons.
They are an amazing group.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of our Patreon supporters, and I thank every one of them for their support.
Yes.
Although I do admit, I have a soft spot for the ones who send me gifts.
Stop,
It's true.
no.
What?
A soft spot.
I'm human. I like having
You
things.
are not asking the patrons to send you presents.
I'm not. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Good.
I'm absolutely not kidding. Why would I not want presents? I like things. I feel bad now that I told the one patron they shouldn't send gifts.
Stop.
What was I thinking?
You'd better hope nobody
I really
sends you
missed
gifts
out
after
on
this.
I'm allowed to have a soft spot.
Enough. You have a soft spot in your head.
Oh, that's not unlikely. You might be right. Okay, so London After Midnight was directed by horror director Todd Browning.
Who directed Dracula and Freaks.
Yeah, a couple
One
of classics.
of us. One of
And it
us.
starred legendary horror icon Lon Chaney, man of a thousand faces.
And some of the most terrifying makeup I've ever seen.
Absolutely. And this movie was released in 1927. If you know anyone who saw this movie in its original run, they are currently very old.
Yes.
And likely are not interested in giving us an enthusiastic synopsis or review of this film.
No.
Which is a shame, because in 1965, at the MGM Film Vaults, there was a terrible fire. The fire broke out where they stored the original and maybe only existing prints of those old nitrate films.
Oh, yeah.
Silent films from the early years of MGM. I believe the fire was so bad that someone passed.
Oh, that's terrible.
And while this isn't as tragic as the death of that victim,
Yeah.
something else of great value was lost.
Yeah.
Namely, the only surviving prints of some of those historic films. There were no other copies.
Oh, my.
One of those films was Browning's London After Midnight, a ghost story murder mystery with vampiric overtones.
That sounds amazing.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. So it never survived to get a television release or VHS or DVD.
No, lost to the ages. The only things remaining are some of the production stills where we get to see Chaney in his terrifying makeup.
I feel cheated.
As well you should. But remember, there was one more thing that survived.
Oh?
The original screenplay.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
You could, at any time in the last few decades, probably go online and read through the original screenplay by Todd Browning and Valdemar Young and get a general idea of the characters and the plot and how it went.
Yeah, that's nice.
But what if I told you that a group of people who run an audio drama horror podcast have put together a cast of voice actors and sound effect professionals to recreate the screenplay into a listening experience that is as close to watching the original film as you're probably going to be able to get at this point.
Wow.
Right?
I would say, where can we find that podcast?
All right. Well, it just came out last year.
Okay.
It's pretty recent. And while they're not paying me for this promo, certainly not sponsoring us.
Right.
But maybe if I drop all the details down in the info, maybe they'll send me a gift or two. I don't ask for much.
Honestly.
Anyway, go to the info for everything I have on that podcast where you can find it. I do believe, having read the screenplay and given a listen to the podcast, I do think there may have been some changes, maybe some artistic license taken. I'm not sure. But I had a lot of fun listening to it regardless.
I can't believe you listened to it without me.
Well, it was research, Michelle. It was hard work. Unlike you, I do a lot of work around here.
Really?
But I will listen to it again. Maybe some dark night in October.
Okay.
We can dim the lamps, light some candles.
Yeah.
Make some hot cider, and listen to this long-lost story from Hollywood's silent era.
When is your silent era?
Wow.
Can't wait for that to start.
You know, if we do get gifts, I'm keeping them for myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You would.